So these things have been blowing up the internet, and I've made quite a few videos on how to make them out of paper, but I wanted to make a hex spinner. So in the spirit of all the snow that I've been experiencing in the East Coast, I decided to make a hexagon snowflake spinner. It comes with a cap, completely made out of paper other than the bearing, of course. There is no weight on it, that's why the spin time isn't that great. But other than that, I was a bit hesitant to upload this since I have a lot of other spinners, but this will most likely be my last spinner video. So go ahead and hit that like button and let's get right into the tutorial. Okay, so as always you can see I have to make a template for this spinner. So first thing I did was I went on Google Images and I searched hexagon pattern, and I got this image where I got all these hexagons. Since the spinner is completely made of hexagons, it's the perfect image. So I went ahead and downloaded it and opened it in a program where I can zoom. And I zoomed it to the size where a bearing will fit perfectly inside of one hexagon. And that's what I need. And now all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cover this screen with a sheet of paper and put the hexagon design onto another sheet of paper and use that as my template. And like I said before, I'll be needing 21 hexagons to create this spinner. So I'm gonna go and get as many as I can on that sheet. So as you can see, my template is completely finished. Turned out better than I expected, but I also got a little bit more hexagons than I needed, but it's okay. So we can see there's two types of hexagons that I'll be cutting out. First one is the one with the bearing that will go in the center hexagon of the spinner, and we're only going to cut out 3 of those to stack up on each other to create the width of one bearing. And then the rest of them are going to have another small hexagon inside of them, as you saw on the outside ones. And they're going to be about 18 of those, I believe. So I have some old hardened paper that I created that I'll be using in this project. I think that these 2 sheets should be enough. If not, I have some other hardened paper too. I won't be explaining how to create hardened paper in this video because it takes up a lot of time, and I have another video on it on my channel. If you want to go check that out, it's on my channel. Learn how to create hardened paper. These are both 400 sheets thick, so it's going to be a very thick spinner and it'll be more durable. So I'm going to go ahead and finish the template and then we're going to start cutting out. So as you can see, I put my design, some hexagons onto this sheet of hardened paper. I even see over here that I tried to cut one out, but I already decided that first I'm going to put all the hexagons onto this. And like I said before, I have another sheet right here. This is going to be, these 2 sheets combined should be able to hold all the hexagons, which is about 21 of them. And basically what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start cutting them out. Well, once I finish putting all the hexagons onto both of these sheets, I'm going to start cutting them out because most of them have another hexagon inside of them, but 3 of them have the bearing in the center because those will be the center piece for the hexagon. So I'm going to go ahead and start cutting those out. So as you can see, I made quite a bit of progress. I do have a lot more. As you can see, I have 7 side pieces cut out, and I need about 18. It's taken me about 3 hours to cut what you see right here out. So it's going to take a bit longer, but before I move on, I want to show you what my template looks like so far. So as you can see, I just have, you can barely see these 2, but these 2 are the different types of hexagons that you'll see. So these circle ones will be holding the bearing in the center of them. So basically, this is what the spinner is going to look like, except the center hexagon is going to be a circle so that the bearing will fit right in the center of it and it can be a spinner. And plus I'm going to have 3 layers of it, so it stacks up to be the width of the bearing. So I'm only going to be needing 3 of these pieces, so I'm going to go ahead and start cutting them out. So as you can see, I've only cut out 2 for each layer, so you can only see these are 2 thick. Originally I thought they were going to be 3 thick, but as you can see, I put the center pieces on the bearing and it fits perfectly with the bearing. And if I put another piece, it would not be able to stick. So I'm just going to be using all the pieces that you see right here. And what's going to happen next is, as you can see, I stack each one up on 2. Basically how it's going to look is, let me just try to, we have this outer shell with the hexagonal pieces, and then we put this guy in the center right there, and then we have our spinner. All I'm going to do is use glue to put this together, and I'll layer it all, and I'll show you how I'm going to make the caps. Alright, as you can see, I put all these pieces together with regular Elmer's glue, and it's looking pretty good. All I'm going to do now is put it under some books to dry so that it doesn't warp or anything like that. And once we do that, I can assemble everything together. As you can see, I put a better bearing in this one. It's not an amazing bearing, it's still steel, but for our purposes, it's going to be fine. So I'm going to go ahead and let it dry. So after drying and test fitting everything, this is what it looks like. It hasn't been glued in yet. I just wanted to check if all the pieces fit together well. And I didn't cut the hexagon perfectly, so you might see some spacing issues, but other than that, it looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and use some super glue to glue it all together because it dries fast, and then we'll go into how I'm going to make the caps. So everything's super glued in place. As you can see, there are some impurities in it. As you can see right here, there's like a gap you can see through, but other than that, it spins wonderfully. It's a really light spinner because there's no other weight on it other than the bearing, and the paper is very light, but it does spin very well. Not the longest spin time, but that's because there's no weight on it. But other than that, it looks great. I can spin it with one hand because of these slots made by the hexagons. Other than that, I'm gonna go ahead and start creating the caps. Okay, so as you can see down here, these 4 parts are all you'll be needing for the caps. So I cut out these 2 squares, and they are 1.2 centimeters by 1.2 centimeters. And all I'm gonna do with those is I'm gonna glue it on top of the hole so that it doesn't interrupt the spinning of the bearing. And once I glue that, I can glue this circle on top. Okay, so basically these 2 squares I cut out from thinner hardened sheets, but these 2 circles you should have remaining from when you cut out the space for the bearing in the center of this hexagon, and that's the exact 2 that I have here. So I'm gonna go and start gluing that together. So as you can see, I put the caps on, and it still spins wonderfully, both sides. It hasn't completely dried yet, so I'm gonna give it some time to dry before I start using it too much. But other than that, that's the spinner. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, like it, subscribe, comment, all that stuff, and I'll see you next time.